loving ourselves and really digging deep. And so
Right.
that's the core of feminine power, is digging deep and being real. So yeah, absolutely. Ask away. So you tell me.
Yeah. So say that again, just because I went ahead and started the recording and I invited followers. So we'll have some coming in and of course have this recording. But say that again, what that really is to connect into your divine feminine power.
It's about, really loving yourself, like really digging deep into the core of who you are, and finding, little bitty, whatever it is. Like if you wake up in the morning and you're struggling, you're having a moment of just feeling like the whole world is coming apart, and which is chaos, right? One of the things,
Right.
I really try to find is dig deep inside of yourself, like look into your eyes, find something beautiful about you, or, look really, I don't know, does that make sense? Like really look deep. And when you look deep at everything, it allows you to access your feminine, because it's all about love. It's all about loving. It's all about finding that love within yourself. And what I find is that when we feel hurt, when we feel sad, when we feel rejected, or when the world is chaotic around us, we build this wall of the masculine up.
Absolutely. Those walls can get really, really thick. And I find for myself that I built walls up to protect myself because I had been hurt before. And the thicker I could build the walls, then the more I felt I could protect myself and keep from getting hurt again and keep people out. But what I found over the course of doing that year after year after year after year was I was not letting anyone in. I was not letting the love in. I was not allowing myself to love myself, because I was so good at building walls. I did keep out everything and everybody.
Right. And the feminine power, the feminine energy, we're receptive. So we have to be able to receive. And for women, if you look across the board, receiving is one of the most difficult things that we have in our culture and within ourselves. So we have to learn to receive. So that's why I say in the mornings when you're feeling all of this stuff, really take a moment to be with you and dig deep. And digging deep, by digging deep and looking into your eyes or looking around you, or whatever it is that you're digging deep into, it allows for the breaking of all of those walls to come down, so that you can access that receptivity again, because it's receiving,
Right.
Right. And we're going. And what's really interesting is that my little boy has said to me, he said, girls don't do that. And I'm like, he's 5, okay, and we don't live in a house where we live that way. And I thought about this. Sorry,
I got the same thing.
I need to say hi.
Aw.
Can you?
Sorry, I have to be mom.
Hi, Nathaniel.
All right, my love.
I'm 5 and 4 quarters already.
That's awesome.
So me and my mini hats. But so he was saying that, and I said, well, buddy, it's not that women can't or girls can't do certain things. It's that we're not made to. And what I really got so strongly, Val, is that children come into the world with an innate understanding of how energies work, much better than we do. And we as adults, or we as, as we get older, through building up these walls and building up all these things, we have tried to put ourselves into situations, especially the females. We've been put into environments. It's not that we can't do it, but it's that it goes against our energy, which is then we build up these walls, and then our natural flow of who we are naturally, we're not able to flow.
Mm-hmm. It's blocked.
Yeah, it's blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so fascinating to see that. I just found that to be, because it's like, I really listen to children, because children, they got it going on, and they know the truth. We think they're just spouting off stuff, but it's like, if we're really honest, we really can hear that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what happens is that, parents, teachers, society, all of that, starts breaking down like those energies you said that we already innately are born with, they put those in a box or have us put those to the side, or just I think that's the difference between children and adults. We've just been taught, as you know, in our culture, in our religions, in schools, that that's not the way you act. That's not what we do as adults.
Exactly, exactly. And so for me, you know, having experienced from such a small and young age of having to protect myself, which is not the natural movement of that, you know, it built all these walls up around me, and I've had to really learn to dig deep to be able to access that feminine. And you know, and
when you say access the feminine, and I say this for me as well as the audience, because I know, you know, we've talked before where I came from this very masculine world, and I was totally immersed, all brothers, went to school with all guys, worked with all guys. So it was really hard for me to move into a more feminine way of doing things, because I couldn't do it that way and survive in the areas where I grew up and how the first part of my life went. So when we talk feminine, to move into your feminine, to do it in feminine ways, can you break that down and explain that a little more?
Well, for me, it's more about, you know, just that softness, you know, finding that softness, finding that love. And, you know, it's hard to do that, like you're saying, when you're surrounded by the masculine energy. And, you know, I too, it was a similar scenario for me where I had very little feminine contact. And those that I did have feminine contact with were either damaged to the point where their energy wasn't really that feminine. You know, so it's about, you know, there's so many different tools, and every single person is different. So I don't know that there's necessarily, oh, you just do this and this works. I think there's a basis of that, but I think that each individual person, depending on their experience, you know, accesses it differently. So, like, for example, for you, I know that you have a huge love for plants and and growing and stuff like that. Right. So for you to give that love in that space is very comfortable for you, but to give that love outside of that space is not quite so comfortable. So one of the things that I did to continue to access that is, I can remember praying and just, you know, thinking, don't let me be, you know, a bitch. I'm not, because I had been so hurt. Don't let me shut my heart off, because what happens is that we shut our heart off to the human race or to energies instead, but we'll give it to plants, or we'll give it to
animals.
Yes, to animals or to children. You know, that's why it's safe.
Yep, exactly.
So it's about coming out of your comfort zone, you know, and really choosing. It's all about a choice. Everything is a choice to access that at those moments when it's very uncomfortable, and recognizing that you may be shunned, recognizing that you may be hurt, but it's about honoring who you really are and keeping in that space. Because when you know I mean, I know you can give that love. I mean, oh my God, I've seen it, I've experienced it, it's there, girlfriend. You know, but it's about choosing every second to access that.
That makes sense. And that really is the hard part, especially, you know, if we're talking about you've built up the walls and you've done it for so long, you don't even realize you're doing it. You don't even realize how thick the walls are. And you're like on the surface layer pretending everything's okay, but yet you're keeping people at a distance, at a safe distance. But you're missing out on so much in life doing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, and part of what you know, it's so easy to detach from your own emotions. And I'm always checking in with myself.
How do you feel?
Yes. And I heard a long time ago something, and this is maybe off a little bit of the subject, but I absolutely adore Oprah, and I align a lot of the things that, my life, my transitions in my life to a lot of the stuff I listened to from her. But she said something once that was really powerful for me. And that was, it was her and Dolly Parton, which I love too.
I love Dolly Parton too. I love them both, but yeah.
Because I can align with their lives. But she said, when I get down and I get depressed and I start building those walls up around me again, she says, I honor myself by allowing myself to have 3 days to feel those feelings. Because what we do as women instinctively is we shut down, we go deeper into putting them in ourselves. So then we have all these addictions, food, shopping, sex, whatever it might be. We find addiction, we shut it down inside
because we have it all stuffed inside of us.
Exactly. And so she said, honor those for 3 days. On the fourth day, I make the choice that I'm no longer, I'm going to, release it and move into being happy. And I thought, wow, that's so powerful.
Yeah. To release. That's huge. Yeah, you honor it. You honor it for those 3 days, and then make the intention to release it and the intention to be happy.
Exactly, because we feel so deeply as women, and then it's not when we don't honor it. How can we honestly ask for someone else to honor it for us?
Right.
Right. But that really stuck with me in my 20s, and it's something that I've consciously made the choice to do. And I'm not perfect at it. I mean, I don't think anyone can be perfect, because sometimes those feelings are incredibly painful. But I find that the more in touch we can become with our emotions and our feelings, and truthful about whatever those are, whether we're angry, we're happy, we're sad. And it's normally the negative emotions. It's obviously not the good. When the good ones are flowing through us and the love flows out, but it's those pain ones, those ones that we have dug, that we've buried so deep. And so it's finding a way to really access those, in my humble opinion. And when we can really access those, then our beauty shines, which is our feminine. And we're all beautiful. Every woman is beautiful, and we are so valuable, and we have forgotten that we are so valuable.
And that's part of, at least the way I look at it, that's part of how we give our power away, to not let us express our emotions and not deal with those feelings, just like what you were saying, and not see our true value and our true gifts. When we don't see them, then we're essentially taking the power away from ourselves and letting others take the power away from us. And then it becomes more in, let me play the victim, let me play the manipulator, all of those different roles that we tend to play as women.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so the more clear we can become with our emotions, and the more we can own them, the more powerful that we become in our feminine. Because, there's nothing wrong with us being able to stand up and say, I'm having a really hard day today, and then honoring that. Giving yourself that space to honor that, because when you do that, there's that authenticity that flows through us, that love that's able to flow through, and then we're able to let it go in a more loving manner, rather than we hold on. Because if you notice, like, I don't know about you, but my experiences in my life, that having not, honored those emotions, my masculine comes out. And
Yeah.
And I love my sword. Let me just tell you, I love my sword. I'm like, let me just chop you up in little pieces, because it feels really good, but it's not good.
Right.
But it's really about not honoring myself. And so when those emotions start to come up and I play it in my head, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Where am I not allowing this emotion to come out? Because I'm clearly having a masculine moment, which we need that. Okay. But it's about really learning to honor the feminine in us.
And because that's been suppressed for so long. Absolutely. For so very long. Yeah.
eons.
And you talked earlier about tools and methods that you've learned and that you've developed yourself to help you get to the process or to the point where you're at today. Those tools and methods, I mean, I don't think we have time to go into all of them today, but they're fairly simple once you know them, right?
Oh, absolutely. You can apply them every single day. You can apply them in simple ways, little simple ways, in few minutes. You know.
Yeah. And part of it's the awareness, becoming aware, and then knowing what tool or method you could use in that moment to help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Which is something that they can come and do.
I know. That's what I'm so excited with, and that's what I was going to go into. Was the two of us are putting together a women's retreat in Tucson, or just south of Tucson, Arizona, to help. Go ahead. I'll let you continue talking about it, and I'm going to type in the link while you're talking about it.
Awesome. Well, we would love to invite you women to come to a 3-day event. It is really designed to help you to dig deep into these things that Val and I are talking about right now. Your emotions, you know, getting real with you with simple techniques. Yes, some of the techniques that you'll be given, you won't be able to do at home, but most of them are, you know, things that you will be able to really learn and integrate into your daily practice. Which is super exciting. And, you know, and by the time you leave, you'll be so clear about who you are. You'll be so in love with yourself.
That's a big part. I mean, the clarity, and then learning to love yourself again. For some, it's easier than others. For some, it's super hard. I know myself that is one thing I've been working on. And as we've talked before, just even looking at yourself in the mirror is sometimes very hard, very hard. And if you're not loving yourself, then it makes it very difficult for you to bring that love to others, that true love and that unconditional love.
Yeah, exactly. You have to learn to love yourself. And it's hard in today's world for so many reasons, you know, and one of the things I know that I believe that this will allow people to see is to see their light inside of them, you know, recognize that they are here for a purpose and for, you know, they have something so valuable to leave this planet, you know, and it's exciting. I'm super excited to be in this space, to be able to offer that to women and to do it with you.
Oh, I feel blessed and I feel blessed and honored. And I think it's just going to be so transformational, you know, for women to one, take that time for themselves, because we're so busy with so many things going on. We don't take the time to care for ourselves and nurture ourselves. So that's a part of what we've built into this retreat is to have that space and time to do that, as well as bring these tools and methods that we've learned and developed to be able to tap into who you truly are, who you are inside, the authentic self of who you are, and to really find that peace and clarity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just again, sacredsoulretreats.com. If you want to go there, we've got a page with more information. And of course, just message Michelle or I, either one. If you have questions, we'd be glad to answer those. And it's again in Tucson, June 16th through the 18th. And we would love to see you there, love to answer any questions that you have. And we're going to do these blabs where we're just talking about, you know, essentially your feminine power and how to tap into yourself and love yourself. We're going to be doing that every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific, and then Mondays at 9 a.m. Pacific too. So you can catch us, and we hope to see you soon.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle.